A long-running dispute over the security of an individual's privacy and also private information on Facebook has now been decided in a European court. It's part of a campaign by the Austrian activist Max Schrems to ensure that data is kept secure as it crosses international boundaries. Well, our correspondent Shona Murray has the latest for us in Brussels. Shona, morning to you. It's a quite complicated case, but it's all about how our personal and private data gets transferred, let's say, from Europe to across borders, maybe to the United States or something. What has the ruling been and what are the implications?
Well, something of a win for Max Schrems, who, as we know, has been pushing for this case since 2013 on the foot of revelations by Edward Snowden in relation to data protection. But really what the court has said today is that part of the EU's architecture for data protection is valid and another part is invalid, and more work has to be done by the European Commission and the EU to protect European citizens' data from getting to the United States. But for more on this, I'm joined by Sophie in 't Veld, the Dutch MEP for Renew. Sophie, I suppose, first of all, your reaction today in relation to the implications of this ruling.
Well, of course, it is a victory for data protection and legality and compliance with EU law. It is a defeat for the European Commission, who has been told for many years by experts, by the European Parliament, that this arrangement was not legally watertight, and yet the Commission chose to ignore that. It is also very worrying for businesses because, again, they find themselves in a situation of uncertainty. So I hope the Commission will learn the lesson, heed the advice of the experts and finally negotiate an arrangement with the United States which is GDPR compliant.
So the privacy shield, of course, is invalidated. So what next then for the Commission? Start from the start again?
They have to negotiate an agreement with the United States that is GDPR compliant. The point is that the Commission always claimed it was GDPR compliant, but all the experts said, no, it's not. The European Parliament has repeatedly called for a renegotiation. The Commission has flatly refused. If this were about China or Russia or any other country, then I don't think that the Commission would be so submissive. I think the Commission needs to negotiate with our American friends at the same level, but make sure that whatever agreement they conclude complies with EU laws and standards.
So just give us a brief explanation of what the SECs are and what the Privacy Shield is.
Well, there are different parts, there are two parts actually of a broader architecture that protects data when they are being transferred or exported to another country. And of course, this concerns only a part of the data. This is about data, not let's say if you send an email or you book a flight ticket on a website or something. This is about data which are being collected here in Europe and then stored on US servers in the US, where the alternative could be to store them here in Europe, for example. But for that kind of data transfers, we have these arrangements. Now, these standard contractual clauses have not been invalidated. The question is, however, how effective they will be in practice, because the judge said they contain all the necessary safeguards, but those who are using the standard contractual clauses have to make absolutely sure that they check every time that the standards are met. So, how useful they will be. But the point is, we cannot put this burden every single time on the shoulders of businesses, on the shoulders of individual citizens. I mean, Max Schrems is a very a very smart and courageous individual citizen. But it's really for the European Commission to enforce the laws. Why does a citizen have to litigate against the European Commission to make sure that European laws are upheld? This is the duty of the European Commission, and I hope that the new von der Leyen Commission is going to be really geopolitical, but also pro-European and protect and uphold our own laws.
So critical day for the Commission. Of course, critical day probably for EU-US relations if the Commission does what's right. But thank you very much for that, Sophie in 't Veld. And back to you in the studio, Rosie.
Shona, thank you very much for speaking to us there from Brussels.